Hi, welcome to Home Farm. Today we're reviewing the Petsafe Smart Dog and Cat Feeder.
So Petsafe very kindly sent us this pet feeder to try out for our 2 cats. We do feed our cats separately though, so this dispenser we used for Olive, who is our chunky monkey British short hair. We got it for her because it's got some really clever special features on this feeder.
Before we get into the features, Leopold still uses his old feeder. It's just basically a very simple automated feeder, so it basically dispenses food a couple of times a day.
Yeah, it's battery operated.
And Leopold typically does spend a lot more time outdoors, so we often end up cleaning and clearing those foods so that Olive actually doesn't get any extras.
We try.
So what's really cool about the smart feeder is that it is a lot more intelligent in terms of the dispensation of the actual biscuits. So it will dispense the biscuits on your schedule, but it's also got a really cool feature called the slow feed. So if you are, for instance, allocating a cat an eighth of a cup, it'll actually do a half of that eighth initially, so that the cat can actually eat a little bit of that, and then it'll dispense the remaining portion a little bit later. So the concept there is that they're hopefully filling up a little bit and not eating the whole amount at one sitting.
Yeah, so with the battery feeder that we have previously and that we still have for Leopold, it's great because you can schedule feeding time. So it will dispense, when you need it to dispense. But A, as Mars said, you don't have that portion control. And B, you're really stuck on those times. So for example, if we were to go away or we were to travel or we were to be out for the day a little bit maybe longer than we expected, and we wanted to feed the cats, we have no control over it. They're just going to be stuck on the schedule that's on the battery operated feeder. Whereas with this one, what's so brilliant about it is that it's plugged into the mains, so it's at the power. It does have a battery so that if, for example, you have a power outage, the battery inside will kick in, so as a backup, which is brilliant. But the majority of the time, it's off the power mains. So that's great. You don't have to worry about batteries running out when you're away. And then also because it is connected to the Wi-Fi, which I absolutely love, means that you can then go onto your smartphone, go into the app, and then actually just press dispense, and it will actually, no matter where you are, it'll send the signal back to your pet feeder in your kitchen and dispense, which for me is massive peace of mind. The nice thing about the scheduling as well is that, as you said, you can portion control your scheduling. So you can actually choose. So for example, in the morning, if you wanted for it to dispense a slightly larger portion, you could. And in the evening, a slightly smaller portion, you could. So the portion control aspect of the feeder is really clever, and I really like that. It's quite a large feeder because obviously it is for cats and dogs. So for us as a cat owner, it's quite large. But for a small dog, it's perfectly fine, small or medium, I would imagine. But it is worth if you're getting it for your cat, especially if you're getting it for your kitten. I can imagine a kitten walking up to it and the bowl, in proportion to its head's going to be like this big. So it is worth, if you are getting it specifically for a cat, to just look on the website and actually see exactly what the size is and make sure that you're comfortable with that size being in your kitchen or in the allocated space that you have for it. But I really like it. It looks good. The one that we've got, it's black. It looks really slick, and it definitely holds a huge volume of biscuits. I think it takes 2 of our small bags. So that's really good as well.
And it's worth noting that it dispenses a variety of different sized biscuits quite comfortably. We use a brand called Aardvark predominantly for Olive. They're not small, they're not big, they're just kind of like a medium-sized biscuit. It dispenses those perfectly. And I don't know whether we've used some of the thicker ones or the bigger ones for British short hairs, but I think that those also came out fine.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that because we have had that with previous automatic feeders, even the battery one that we use for Leopold still. It is a bit temperamental. There's certain biscuits it likes to dispense, and then certain size biscuits it doesn't, and it chokes on them. So basically, as opposed to dispensing a portion, it dispenses 2 or 3 and then just chokes up, and it just does nothing else comes out.
And the flip side of that, if the biscuits are really small, it just dispenses a mountain of biscuits.
A mountain, yeah, true. So from that perspective, this dispenser was much better. I also really like the fact that the bowl that for our other feeders that we've had, the bowl's kind of molded into the actual feeder. So you've got the dispenser, and then you've got the bowl, and it's all kind of molded into one. So in order to clean the bowl, you have to lift the whole dispenser up to the sink, which is really annoying. With this one, it's got a loose bowl, so it's metal or stainless steel, which is really nice because I don't like the cats eating out of plastic. So I think that having the stainless steel is really nice and hygienic, easy to clean. And the fact the bowl is loose and you can just literally pick the bowl up separately, much more convenient, and I really like that feature a lot. I would just mention that the stainless steel bowl, I really like that for hygiene reasons and because it's easy to clean. But I would just say that when the biscuits came out the first few times, they shot out into the stainless steel bowl, and it's quite loud, it's quite noisy with and so it startled the cats. It took the cats a few days to actually trust that this thing was, not going to, turn into a monster and attack them. So they were kind of a little bit startled at first. But once you've dispensed it a few times and they've realized, oh, okay, this is just the noise that this makes, then they get used to it and then they're perfectly fine with it. But it is just worth noting that if you've already got a stainless steel bowl and your cats are used to you maybe throwing biscuits into the bowl, then they're going to know that sound already. But if they're not, like for us, we had heavy plastic bowls or heavy porcelain ceramic bowls, so they just weren't used to that sound. But now they're used to it, and now it dispenses, and now it's perfectly fine.
And then I associate it with feeding time, so when it does actually dispense, Olive will come charging from wherever she is in the house, because she knows her biscuits have been served. I really love the app. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to stuff like that. I've got to say, Petsafe have absolutely nailed it. It's so easy to use. You only have to grant access to an app user once. So that person, like you are the primary user. I was the secondary user on that. You basically just get an invite from your email account. And once I've accepted that, I'm logged in. So I don't have to keep logging in and remembering passwords or anything like that. It just works on my phone all the time. And the way that the actual app has been structured, it's very easy to follow. It's very easy to make schedules, change settings. You can also lock the dispensing button that's on top of the actual feeder, which we haven't discussed. So if you're just walking past the actual feeder and you just want to dispense some biscuits, you can just push the button. It'll dispense those biscuits. So maybe if you've got kids or if
toddler running around and they know
pushing the button the whole time. And so you can actually lock that.
Okay.
And every time the food dispenses, you get a notification on your phone saying, Olive's been fed. So you do actually know whether it's working and it actually is dispensing biscuits.
It also has a low food sensor, which is really clever. So when the biscuits in the container have actually started to drop to a certain level, it'll send you a notification to your phone to say the food is actually running out, the biscuits are running out in the dispenser, you need to refill, which I think is really, really nice. Clever. So you just always know where you're at with this dispenser. You know when it's fed, if you want to feed it, you can just immediately notify it to feed, and you know that there are plenty of biscuits in there. So I just think that it really just gives you a lot of peace of mind, makes it feeding really easy, really simple, and I really like it.
I like it too.
Features that it doesn't come with is worth touching on because I think I'm yet to find a cat feeding dispenser, especially an automated one in the market that covers every single feature that you might want. So it doesn't come with a cover, so the food is dispensed into a bowl and then that's it. So some of the other ones that you might see on the market actually have this kind of flappy cover, so they cover the food. This one doesn't have that, and it's not activated by the microchip. So if you wanted, for example, I know there's some feeders that have the microchip, but the one thing I would say about, for example, the cover ones and the microchip ones that I've seen is that it's a single portion dispense and you have to fill that. So it doesn't actually come with a dispensing container. It just is a bowl with a flap over it. So you have to go and take the bowl out, put the quantity in and then put it back in, and then it covers the flap, or it activates and opens with either motion or microchipping. This one, it would be ultimate if they could incorporate all of those things. That would be really awesome. But for us, the main priority for the dispensing and the feeder was that it was going to be a high volume, that it was going to be able to store, and that it would able to dispense on a schedule and portion control. So those were our features that we really needed the most. And from that perspective, I think it's been a really great feeder, and I really recommend it. It looks good, and it feels durable as well. It feels like it's going to last a long time.
Oh, definitely. It's very well made.
Yeah, so I think if you're a busy pet owner, or you're traveling regularly, or you're away from home, or you do long shifts and you need something that's going to dispense at certain times, have the portion control option as well. Know when your cat or animal has been fed, because obviously you get those notifications. I think that this is a very, very good dispenser, and I think it's definitely the top end of quality of dispensers, and I would definitely recommend checking it out.
So I hope that you have found this video useful and interesting. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button below if you want to see more of our videos, and we'll see you on our next video. Thanks for watching.